Good evening. Hello and welcome to this edition of the Startup Central. I'm Nayantara Rai, working from home in New Delhi. This is the only show of its kind on Indian television, of course, on startups, but also technology, innovation, disruption, entrepreneurship. If it falls under the gambit of the new economy, it's here every weekday at 6 p.m. on ET Now. Ladies and gentlemen, like all the stakeholders of the startup community that we get on this show, Team Startup Central thrives on constructive feedback. Don't hold back. Keep writing into us. Tell us how we should be doing things differently, what you want to see on the show, what you don't want to see on the show. That's very important as well. Our email address right on top, suc@etnow.tv. I'm also on Twitter. You can reach out to me directly. Well, time for the big interview of the day. Amazon, the world's largest company, has exported Indian brands, Indian goods worth a whopping $2 billion last year. The Jeff Bezos company actually wants to increase exports from India to about $10 billion in the next few coming years. So I guess very good for the Made in India initiative and vocal for local going global. So I'm going to be discussing that and a lot more with the Vice President of Seller Services at Amazon, Gopal Pillai, now joining us on Startup Central. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. You know, you had a big event today. Nitin Gadkari, the cabinet minister, talking about the big role played by Amazon for supporting MSMEs, Make in India, and of course $2 billion worth of exports. The India boss, Amit Agarwal, there for the virtual event as well. Gopal, before I get into the specifics of that, it's of course been eventful for every e-commerce company, but as a seller, I'm sure a lot of your attention and time went into the fact that you had to make sure your sellers were also updating country of origin.
Yeah, so it's a fun day for India. The big $2 billion mark, which was, if you remember, the first billion took almost 36 months, if not a little bit more than that. And the second billion, it took us only less than 18 months to double the effort and double the outcome to 2 billion. And it's a true reflection of the Indian manufacturers and their potential and how they can become global brands without ever stepping out of India. And it is indeed a big day. On your second part of the question, we are asking for the sellers to provide the country of origin. And as you know, Amazon India is a marketplace between sellers and consumers. And whether it's an Indian manufacturer, brand owner, women entrepreneur, artisan, they know the best where the product is made. So we are building the technology capabilities so that they can enter that information, which indeed we can show it back to the customers.
And is that going to be live by 10th of August, if reports are to be believed?
So we are working with them. And as you know, it's when you have a large marketplace like Amazon, which is the largest marketplace in the country, and when you're dealing with 6 lakh sellers, it's an effort. And we started the effort, and we are working with the sellers, and we are educating them. And so hopefully we'll get the information required to be showcased with the customers.
You know, Gopal, since I have you on the show, I've got to ask you this question. You know, most of the e-commerce giants, for example, Flipkart has also said it, that consumers don't really care so much about this tag, about the country. They're more concerned about the product, the reliability of the product, how good the product is, and of course the price of the product. Has that been your experience as well? I understand why the government might be doing it, but has that been your experience as well as India's largest marketplace online?
See, I can't really generalize the customer willingness and the number of parameters they take into account before making a purchase decisions. And it depends on the ASP. For a high ASP tagged items, people use social media rating, customer ratings, friends and family feedback. So there are several things going to play. Even if you take our global selling products, for example, there is a Khadi Moria face wash that I just came across today. that has 975 ratings on Amazon.com. And you can see how people care a lot about how the product is serving their purpose. And if one of the items parameters is that, and depending on the individual, they will make a purchasing decision based on what is important for them. For some people, it's product ratings. For some people, it's the price. For some people, how fast can we deliver it? For some people, it's based on friends and family feedback. So it's really, really hard to generalize that.
Is there any direction from the government? I'm going to make this the last question on this subject. Is there any direction from the government to prominently or more prominently display the sellers and the items if they're indeed made in India, if the country of origin is in India?
See, if we take a step back, right, even before the country of origin attribute, Amazon has committed to Indian made in India product for a long time. We started Amazon Corridor 4 years ago. Today, it has 15 state and central government partnerships, and we have 8 lakh sellers on the artisans and weavers in the program. Same for Amazon Saheli, we have more than 2 lakh women entrepreneurs part of the program. Launchpad, which was started 3 years ago, has thousands of brands started from India, and it's kind of strategized for startup brands. So across the board, we also have a dedicated storefront for Made in India Launchpad products on our website. Similarly, on our .com, we have a Made in India section called Amazon.com/India. So across the board, we are always promoting Made in India products and giving visibility for the products made by artisans, weavers, and women entrepreneurs. So in this case, when it comes to a detail page, it is one of the attributes that we will showcase. And just like how big it is, how long it is, there are several attributes that defines the product. Internally, we call it as a catalog attribute. And those catalog attributes will be showcased in a way that customers can easily understand everything they want to understand, including this attribute.
Let's now talk about the milestone achieved by Amazon, $2 billion worth of exports, doubling the exports in 18 months' time. How far are you away, you think, from the other milestone of exporting, what, $10 billion from India?
It's indeed a huge milestone, and it's giving us a confidence that what we have said for 6 months ago in January in our Sambhav, our flagship conference, that we are planning to get, or we are pledging to get to $10 billion in cumulative exports by 2025. All it shows is that first $1 billion took little over 3 years, and this one takes less than 18 months. We are on track to achieve it. And particularly, even with the pandemic, COVID-19, it's not stopping our talented and passionate entrepreneurs from India from succeeding them. For example, we have a brand called Sinora Products, which are into women hygiene products. And their CEO, Deep Bajaj, says their growth has become 3 to 4x higher in the last 3 months. And they are looking into multi-purpose disinfectant sprays and other clean hygiene products. So it's across the board. We are seeing increased momentum. And there is another seller called Skillmatics. Today, they got the award for in Most Innovative Brands of the Year, which created educational and STEM toys.
They just in fact, Gopal, I had Skillmatics on the show just a few days ago. It's a toy startup that you folks at Amazon discovered, mentored, is doing fabulously well in America. And what I also find fascinating from what you're telling me, a women's hygiene brand, Skillmatics. So it's not the typical kind of goods that you would normally hear about Indian exports doing well. For example, textiles, handicrafts.
No, absolutely. Across the board. For example, there is a shampoo company called Wow Shampoo. They are again born in Amazon Launchpad in India, and now they have become a global shampoo brand. So if you go and search for shampoo on Amazon.com, Wow Shampoo consistently comes on the top of the list. Same for tea. There is a Vadam tea, which was very well liked by Oprah Winfrey. also comes in the top of the list. So it's not the specific set of categories. It's across the board. Indian brands are really playing a critical role in the global landscape.
Yes, in fact, I remember Vadam Tea's Vala Sarda got an award from Jeff Bezos himself when he was
Yeah.
in New Delhi. We had him again on the show recently. So Gopal, tell me now, going forward and hunting for the next $8 billion, you've done $2 billion, hunting for the next $8 billion. What will the focus be? What kind of Indian goods are you looking at? You know, is it going to be things like what you're doing? Skillmatics has certain, Indian tradition to it. Wow Products has it. It's homegrown. It's organic. It's chemical free. Vadam tea, tea and India go together. So is it going to be like this? Something that has a deep cultural root with India as well, or are you also looking at maybe supply solutions which could be an alternative to other countries? Is that what we are also seeing? When we are seeing giants trying to reduce their exposure to China, and can India offer that?
See, at the bottom of it, like India is one of the strongest place for manufacturing. India has the talented set of entrepreneurs, access to raw material, talented individuals from crafting to designing to engineering. Across the board, we have all the talent to play a critical role in global manufacturing. So even when we started in 2015, we didn't know which products are going to succeed, which products are not going to. What we decided is to create a platform that enables highly ambitious, passionate leaders to come in and leverage it. So going forward, I had no idea. If you had asked me 2018, will Skillmatics be one of the top players in the country and playing a critical role in be one of the most popular educational topics? I couldn't have said it. So going forward, we will continue to work on the mission of enabling every motivated Indian entrepreneurs in the country to help them reach not only customers in India, but also customers across the world. So we want to make exports easy. We want to make exports seamless. We wanted to make exports as an extension of their Indian businesses. So we don't know, there may be 10 other Skillmatics and 100 other Wow Shampoo in their own respective fields. We want to make sure that we are building the right platform and the foundation for them to succeed at a global level.
So I'll make this my final question, and apologies if it's so specific. So when, a Wow Shampoo does well overseas, when Vadam Tea does well overseas, when Skillmatics does well overseas, are all these goods being bought primarily by consumers of Indian origin, NRIs? Have you done any study like that, or do they have a global appeal? Are they able to cut across that?
Absolutely global appeal. There is no question about it. Here is why. As you can see, say, for example, US has more than 300 million people in population, and Indian diaspora would be in a few millions, right? So, but if you search for shampoo, Wow comes as one of the top shampoos. Clearly, it has a global appeal to all the customers out there, not just Indian background customers. Same goes for Vadam Tea. And even things like, there is a brand called California Design Den. They are one of the top sellers in bed sheets in the US website. And we are also seeing different use cases for the products that we make. For example, Chantrika soap is being used as a shaving lather. So there are alternate use cases through which they are getting popular as well. Then there are countries like Singapore and United Arab Emirates, which has similar customer demand patterns. And there they are succeeding as well. Some of the brands who are successful in India continue to succeed in those locales as well.
Okay, so like California Design Den, of course, is into home textiles. So, from what you're saying, you're covering the full gambit, whether it's tea, personal care, textiles, toys, it's all happening. And Gopal, thank you so much for taking the time out to join us here on Startup Central. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Amazon achieving a huge milestone, $2 billion milestone for exports from India, popularizing Indian brands overseas, and what's remarkable here is the fact that it's no longer a situation where the exports are to well-established brands overseas, maybe
Exactly.
selling to Macy's or Nordstrom, etc. These are brands that are selling under their own name, with their own label, and wowing customers overseas. Thanks a lot, Gopal.